Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you from the home studio today on this, the 11th day of July in the year 2023. Sure hope you're enjoying your Tuesday, no matter where it is you are in the country. 88 degrees here in Kearny, or Harrison as it is, because I forget what town I live in sometimes. And do we ever have a lot to get to today. But before we do, we will welcome in two people who are watching for sure the broadcast today. That's Melanie Ryan, who says hello, and our friend Manny Ventoso as well, who is watching the broadcast as well. Two of my favorite people in the whole wide land are here. Now, just a few minutes ago, I learned some interesting news about what's going on with the run for the mayoralty in the town of Kearny that I'm going to share with you in just a second. But as you can see on the screen, there are photos of three people, and these are the three people who were nominated by the Kearny Democratic County Committee last night to become Kearny's next mayor. In order that they appear on the screen, Carol Jean Doyle is the council president. She also represents the 3rd Ward in the town of Kearny and has done so for the last 27 years, since 1996, when she was first elected to the Kearny Town Council. Next to her on the screen is Peter Pinero Santana, who is the 2nd Ward representative on the town council right now in the town of Kearny. Peter has himself been a member of the governing body for the last 7 years as a representative of the 2nd Ward. And the third candidate, who I believe is probably there because they need to have 3 candidates, is Susan McCurry, the retired 4th Ward councilwoman from the town of Kearny, who spent almost 22 years, I believe, on Kearny's town council. She is currently the vice president of the vice chairwoman of the county committee for the Kearny Democratic Party, a regular Kearny Democratic organization, I believe is the proper terminology that they use when describing that body. So they need to have 3 candidates, and one will eventually be selected as mayor for the coming months, and then there will be a special election at some point this year in 2023 where anybody who wants to run can run, I believe, and that person will then fill out the term for the rest of what was Alberto Santos's term that goes through the year 2025. I got some very interesting information. I spoke with a couple of people in Hudson County, and they are players in this game, and there were a couple of proposals on the table that I'm going to tell you about how things may go today when you walk into the council chamber. The 2 people who want the mayoralty the most are obviously Carol Jean Doyle and Pete Santana, who you can see on the screen. Earlier this week, a deal was proposed where Carol Jean Doyle would become the interim mayor, and then she would bow out for the special election, and Pete Santana would then become the mayor of Kearny if he won the election, if he ran unopposed, or if he wins whenever the special election is, which we don't know the date thereof just yet. It's not going to be in November, but we're not 100% sure what that date's going to be. Councilwoman Doyle rejected that right away because she said, no, I've been doing this for 27 years. I deserve to be the interim mayor longer than that, and that's not going to be good enough. She made a counter proposal, and that is that she will be the mayor on an interim basis. She'll be the candidate when the special election happens, and then she will give way to Peter Santana to become the official candidate in 2025. Now, let me just put it to you this way. These are two sort of breaking details right now. I haven't had a chance to speak to Councilwoman Doyle. I haven't had a chance to speak to Councilman Santana about either of these proposals. What I will tell you is that the second proposal is the one that makes the most sense at this point to me. And here's why. Because Councilwoman Doyle has been at this for 27 years. She has worked very, very hard at what she does. And I want you to know something before anybody gets out there and says, he's a Carol Jean lackey and whatnot. Carol Jean Doyle and I were bitter enemies for many, many years. We really were. We were very, very bitter enemies for a long time, and we became very, very friendly afterwards. But there wasn't always a time where we saw eye to eye here, okay? But let me put it to you this way. Here's the bottom line. The logical succession would be, and I think we said this before we knew who was even going to run, that Carol Jean would become the mayor, and she would serve out Al's term, and then in 2 years, it's 2 years and a couple of months, Pete Santana would be the logical and wise choice to be the mayor of the town of Kearny, a position that I think he would probably be able to hold for as long as, if not longer than, Mayor Santos did in his 23 years as mayor, because he is still young, he's energetic, he's bright, he works for the Harrison school system, he's the director, I believe, of information technology, he's got a beautiful family, and it just makes sense that he would wait for these 2 years and a couple of months to take over the mayoralty. And not just that, Carol Jean has had the preparation, and she would pretty much do she would groom him. She would have all this time. It's not that much time, though. Think about how quick 2 years goes. Take 2 years and 3 months. Look back to COVID. We're talking 3 years ago already when COVID started. And if you ask me, that seemed like it was a couple of months ago, not 3 years ago. The time goes so fast. She made a promise also that she would only stay on until the end of 2025. And that's it. She's going to retire. She's in her 70s. She hasn't enjoyed her life outside of the town of Kearny. She's got a beautiful home down the shore. She goes once in a while, but she's never really had a chance to enjoy it. So the big question is, what will happen tonight when the Kearny Town Council gets together? There will be the nominations. There are 3 candidates. I think 2 are serious. And then the council will then take up a vote. And what will happen then is a completely unknown story right now. But it seems like the powers that be in Craig Guy, the Hudson County executive to be, unless something bizarre happens and a Republican finds a way to win, and I say that with all due respect because I know who the Republican candidate is, and he's a very, very nice guy. But the discussions will be going on, I'm sure, throughout the day today with Mr. Guy and also with freeholder Al Cifelli, the Democratic power brokers in this area. And we have a comment from Carol Manley. It says, praying the right decision is made for the residents of Kearny, hands down. Carol Jean is the best choice. Remember, I'm reading here and quoting. Do the right thing, and all the other interested candidates will have their time. Carol Jean is totally qualified and has proven herself many times over. Give her the courtesy and respect she deserves. That is from our friend Carol Manley. And Melanie agrees here. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting night tonight. If you can't make it to the town hall chambers, the meeting is streamed on Zoom, and you'll be able to watch it there. Not everybody's going to be able to make it to the meeting tonight. I think I will be watching personally on the Zoom broadcast because it's easier for me to gather the information, believe it or not, remotely. But no matter what happens, it is going to be very, very interesting and could come down to the last minute. So we will see what happens there. But we may know who the new mayor is or the interim mayor. We may not. We may not. And it looks like we've got somebody on the line who wants to join us on the air, so let me just clear this away real quick, and we will bring Melanie on the air. So just bear with me for a second, and we'll bring Melanie on. Hold on, Mel, just 1 second. Okay, can you say something?
Yeah, I said I don't really have a lot to say. It's going to be decided by the council tonight.
Can't really see anything but your chin right now. There you go. Okay, so
I can't figure this thing out. I don't do technology.
No, you're doing fine.
Anyway,
Just speak up a little bit.
I just wanted to see how this works, really.
Oh, so you really have nothing to say, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think's going to happen tonight?
I don't know what's going to happen. I think that Peter could make a good mayor if he has a little more time to learn.
Okay.
To meet, Carol Jean can hit the ground running. She already has the connections at the county and at the state that we need in order to accomplish things that we need done.
Oh, God, this is disastrous. Now I see your ceiling. I appreciate you trying to call us in, but this is probably not the time to test technology. But that was Melanie Ryan, who never stops talking but was very, very quiet today. I have no idea why, but she did get on, so I guess that was a good step right in and of itself. We're going to move on from this, and we're going to go to this week's edition of The Observer. And the front page this week says, Police in the Making. The 10th annual Junior Police Academy was today. This week, recently rather. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. And it seems like the kids had a very, very good experience with the Junior Police Academy in Nutley. This has been something that they've done for 10 years. And all the kids seem to rave about it. I haven't seen this much raving in a long time. But this time of year is when all the towns have their Junior Police Academies. I know Kearny's scheduled. I think it's coming up soon. And I believe theirs is for a 2-week stretch. Some of the academies go for 1 week, some of them go for 2 weeks, and it just depends on the town. But it looks like they had a fantastic experience there, so we give big credit to Chief Strumolo in Nutley and the police department there for all of their hard work for getting this together and for making it successful. And the kids, too, look at them. They look like they had a fantastic time, at least from this image. Vinny O'Teary brought a great story to us about a series of arrests, including one where somebody attempted to open up an account with a fake name at the Citizens Bank in Lyndhurst. You can see that on page number 1. And also, the 4th of July fireworks were phenomenal this year. If you didn't get to see them, you missed out. I did too, but they say that it was about 10,000 people in the crowd, did the chief of police, and it seems like everybody who was there raved about what happened. So we have photos from our dear friend Barbara Goldberg, who each and every year sends things to us from different events over the course of the year. In Harrison, free lunches for everybody up to the age of 18 all summer long. This doesn't happen everywhere, but it's a federal program, and any child up to the age of 18 in Harrison, regardless of where they go to school, can get these free lunches, which are distributed Monday through Thursday, and I believe on Thursday they give a weekend supply of lunches out for the kids to take home. So if you are a parent in Harrison and you haven't taken advantage of this program yet, you certainly should do so soon. Mike Guntarchuk has this week's Kearny Police Blotter, and they used a what's called conducted energy device to subdue a belligerent suspect recently. Everywhere else they call those devices tasers, but For some reason, the company doesn't like the name taser used. I've never quite understood that, because no other company really makes these, and every single one that police have are owned by that same company. But they did have to deploy that, and it's non-lethal force that the police has at its disposal. And it's often good, because by using it and deploying it early, often it prohibits or keeps police from having to use more lethal energy or weapons at a crime scene. The cruise around Manhattan was a couple of weeks ago, and once again, Barbara sent us some great pictures. The three that we have here include a table of attendees, the bus captains that took everybody on the buses and brought them down to Jersey City for the ride, and our friend Pat Donnelly, who is a mail carrier as well in the town of Kearny. Looked like Pat had a fantastic time, and we certainly love Pat, that's for sure. There's a couple of other stories, including the Hudson County Community College having this Pay It Forward program for nursing students. If you haven't seen this yet, we have a series of letters from readers today, and all three of them are encouraging the mayoral candidacy of Carol Jean Doyle. You can read those on your own. The Belleville Historical Society celebrated Juneteenth. And then, when we get to the very end by sports, we have an Athlete of the Year this week. What I will tell you, if you haven't read it yet, is that he comes from Lyndhurst High School, and he was a phenomenal athlete. It was almost a no-brainer that he would get it. Next week, we will have the Female Athlete of the Week, which is just another no-brainer. She was well deserving of this award, so you can see that on page number 9 there. We also have 2 pages of classifieds, as we do each and every week, and of course, if you're looking for a place to rent or an apartment, if you are looking for a job, we have got you covered there, so please check those out on pages 16 and 17 in this week's edition. So that's this week's paper. Lots going to happen tonight. The meeting begins at 7 o'clock at 402 Kearny Avenue. If you cannot make it, you can get the link at kearnynj.org on the website. It's a Zoom link, and you can watch the meeting from the comfort of your home, or you can go out and head over to the meeting. I have a feeling there's going to be a pretty big crowd there, regardless of what happens. Anyway, so that's tonight at 7 o'clock. We will be back 1 week from today. If anything breaks before that, however, we will join you live, including if there is a new mayor to announce. We will certainly let you know that tonight or tomorrow, depending on how late the meeting goes. But that's going to do it for now. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me. I thank Melanie Ryan for her technology attempt. It was a very valiant attempt, sort of. Manny Ventoso, and of course Carol Manley, the three who were in the chat room. To anybody else in the chat room, thank you as well. And we'll be back in a week. So from the home studio today, Kevin Canessa, I'm signing off for now. And we hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everybody. Take care.